I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'll sit with Jamie and smack him when he.
Smack it back awake.
Yeah.
This may not take very long.
We're live.
I'm just thinking.
Well, it's a few minutes past 6:30, so why don't we get started? Appreciate you coming out tonight. My name is Dick Haskell. I'm with the consulting firm of WGI, the Wattman Group, and we are the city's program managers for the entire bond program for all 4 districts. With us tonight is Tom Biggs. Tom is with Mock Roos. They are the design engineers for District 1, which is our subject for tonight. Also, we have Commissioner Robinson back here. I'd like to acknowledge him. Jamie Brown, our Public Services Director. He's the man you want to talk to.
I've been talking to him, it's not getting anywhere, so I will talk to Mr. Robbins.
Okay.
I came in late, I don't know what we're talking about.
And Giles Rhodes is our utility engineer. And we have Jennifer back here, who is with WGI, and she is responsible for the work that gets done for this program up in our West Palm Beach office. Basically, it's primarily maintaining the website, which we'll talk about a little bit later, lakeworthroads.com. And also she comes down and videos the meetings for us so that she can put them on the website. Having said that, just a couple of comments about what we plan to do tonight. We tried to have a meeting with the residents in the district, and particularly on the streets that are involved in the particular projects and programs that we're doing at the time. And Tom, I'm going to turn the floor to him in just a few seconds here. He's going to take you through the road segments that are included on this particular project in District 1, and some of the improvements that we are looking at planning for these areas. And then he's going to ask you and solicit input from you as to any particular localized neighborhood problems that you may be experiencing, and that we may be able to provide solutions for within our funding restraints. Because you need to bear in mind that the focus of this program is repairing the roads. So, and that's where the bulk of the dollars are focused, the bulk of the concern and concentration of the design is focused. Now, we will try and use some of these features in our design as you tell us what some of the issues are in your neighborhood and on your streets, try and solve them if we can afford to do it. Okay? So at that point, because I don't want to make Tom's presentation for him, I'll turn it over to Tom.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me just go through briefly. I'm going to be as succinct as possible, and I'll get closer. So this is the program, the pilot program for District 1, and it's color coded by year. So year 1 is in the orange, and if you were to go out and drive around, you'd see that this street is under construction now. This street is soon to go under construction, and this will soon follow that. The bids for this part of year 1 is coming tomorrow. So year 1 is well underway, and will be all of year 1 will be under construction probably by October. Year 2 is shown in this magenta color, and what we're here to talk about tonight is two portions of year 2. This portion up here and this portion down here. And I've got a little bit bigger blow up of that. So this is so the northwest portion of the year 2 project basically is between A Street and D Street, between Lake Avenue and 6th Avenue South. And these streets that you see that are highlighted are the streets that are in the year 2 program for that portion of the year 2 program. And similarly, this segment between Dixie and the railroad, East Coast Street, H Street, from 8th Street and 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue, I'm sorry, and 7th Avenue South, is this program. So we have completed the survey of those segments. At this point, we've completed pavement cores, which basically are, well, you may have seen those in the streets, you may have seen surveyors out, you may have seen our engineers have been out, and city staff's been out looking at curbs and sidewalks and in specific conditions, and we're right now just gathering all of that information and getting ready to proceed with actually designing the improvements for those segments of street. That's what our mission is right now. And so we wanted to hear from you guys, you know, before we actually get into all of that, you know, what other kind of concerns you have, and, you know, let you express those, and you know, stuff like, are you mostly concerned about the roadway surface? Are you concerned about sidewalks and curbs? Are you concerned about drainage or traffic calming or something else? And just to listen to you, get your feedback, so that when we meet with Jamie and Giles and sit down and fine tune exactly what we're going to do on these streets, that we have incorporated any comments that you have to the ability that we can do that within the city's construction budget for the project. So I guess from that.
I was last here.
You're last, so.
Well,
Yeah.
I brought up a subject earlier, can I
Right.
use your map to
Oh,
show?
absolutely.
The bigger one?
You want this
Yeah.
one?
My street's not on here necessarily, it'll be done, but I'm right here in the first block
You're on it.
on 24 South C Street,
You want to use it?
if you can see it. There's two main issues in our area that we're definitely experiencing right now, and that is when traffic is southbound trying to cross Lake Avenue, they're gunning it to get across there, and they just keep on flying down the street.
Keep on gunning.
We have now at 3rd Avenue South installed stop signs all the way across 3rd Avenue South, so they know they eventually have to stop there. Before that, they were gunning all the way down to 6th Avenue. They're avoiding A Street, so they have to deal with the bumps there, and B is one way going north. What's happened in a span of about 2 months last year, we had 3 accidents at the house next to me. I'm right at the corner and they're right here. So what happened is a car plowed into one and totaled that. Then about 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, another car plowed into both vehicles that were parked in there. One went up in front of the bedroom window where the children were. One almost went up the guide wire for the post on the corner. They did catch that guy because he ended up across the street. All 3 cars at that accident scene ended up getting totaled. About an hour after they cleared that accident, a truck came down the street, plowed into a car across the street from my house, and flipped over on its side. So we're definitely having an issue with speeding and drunk driving there. What I would love to see, and I don't mind if it's just down on the edge of my house, is one of those traffic calming devices. So when they shoot across Lake Avenue, they know they got to slow down again, because I have children in the apartment complex to the north of my house, and there's children in the house on the corner. Not to mention across the street. We have children in several houses in this area, and they're little guys. And they don't pay attention. They play and they forget they're wandering out in the street, and somebody's going to get hurt. That's my main concern, is they're speeding.
School access right there to the high school also.
Right, there's a lot of child traffic in here. There's a little, I believe it's a church-oriented school here. Those kids come down this street all the time, and that traffic gets really bad when they're racing through Lake to get over here. The second concern I have, and I don't know if the city will ever address this, but this alleyway here between C and D Street, it is just rutted terribly, and it's gotten so bad. I don't know that they've added too much material to try to grade it out, but it dips down severely before it gets to the road. So what's happening is you come down, you actually have to come to a stop to get to the road because it dips down so bad. The alleyway height is so much higher than the road. They do not come in and grade this on a regular basis. I have behind my house probably at least 50 feet in length, a huge like swale that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper with the rains and everything. They'll occasionally grade this, but they don't always ever grade this part of this alleyway. So I'm hoping that somehow, even though, you know, this is in year 2, the city can somehow find a way to get some monies for a calming, traffic calming device here, and perhaps looked at the composition of this alleyway. I don't want it to become a shortcut where people can cut through per se, but the size of the holes that are in there now, it's really like you're on a roller coaster trying to drive to that alleyway. And you have to go like under 5 miles an hour to get through it because it's just so bad. And this house here right on the edge has a lot of little kids. My only concern with if we asphalt or cover that is people fly through there, and this house seems to be set lower. And you can visibly see that when you come down that alleyway. My concern is that somebody gets speeding and cut and end up running into that house. So there would need to be, I would think, some sort of fencing. There's some bushes there now, but they're old. They've cut it way down so it just looks like sticks coming out of the ground. I would be concerned for the safety of the family in this house if we could do anything with that. But those are the concerns right in here in this first block for me. And this alleyway being this way is definitely eroding the street this way because all that gravel and stuff is coming here and people are just tracking it right down over the road surface. So the surface now is beginning to look more mottled. You know, it doesn't look asphalt all the time. When they redid the gas lines in here, they messed up in front of my house. They damaged the road. So they actually had to come back in and repave a portion of that. But now, there's a big lower area there, so water continues to gravel and it's building up. And my concern, that's going to usurp the foundation of that roadway over time. So when this is in year 2, I'm hoping, not that it's worse, but that these concerns might be looked at again at that time, and perhaps we can address some of those issues. That's all.
Excuse me, when we were talking earlier before the meeting, I thought you were talking about B Street. You talking about C Street?
C Street. It's one way south.
That isn't a program.
See, yeah.
It is.
Program.
Yeah.
But,
You just started off by saying it's not really in the program.
well, on this map here, it doesn't show that. What it shows is at First Avenue South, it comes to here.
This is
Got
E,
C,
and this is
yeah,
C.
C and D there.
My bad, sorry. It's such a small head.
That's why I blow it up.
Can I follow her up, because I'm right on the same.
He's on the
area.
other kitty corner across from me.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
So, all that said, she's right about all that stuff. In the alley, I've addressed it a couple times. There's actually 2 light poles. Where's that alley?
This alley right
Yeah, there's 2 light poles, one right here and one right here. Now that light pole right there, the road swerves around it, only feeds that little house. The utilities easily could be buried at that house. I can at least eliminate one of those poles as an obstacle. I'd like to see it paved. I tried mulching originally, I've been there 12 years. I face that alley. Where'd we go again? There it is.
Right there.
So, I'm right here. So I'm facing right into that alley, and I mulch my alley behind me quite a ways. I used to do the whole thing, but then, I guess it's been 12 years. So, but I did try that, and it just went too quick. It wouldn't stay up. But there are 2 poles there, and this one here, if you just get pulled back, I know that's a matter of lengthening all the wires, but if you get pulled back 10 feet, that would be a straight shot. Yes, there's a speedway. Yes, there's a drop into that property. Yes, there's small children. And I have seen, even with that depth, people just hit that turn. Obviously, they're looking to the right as they hit that turn,
Yeah.
and they're blindly turning left. Okay, because they're looking for traffic like this. And they're not looking for any kids or anything here. So I don't know how to slow that down, but if we do pave and everything, it would be good. Put a bump maybe just before the sidewalk. We do need a sidewalk there. The women with baby strollers, they have to go around this thing. And right alongside, I lost me again, right alongside the side of, which is, this apartment building is 1415 Lake Avenue. Right along the side, I believe that's supposed to be no parking through there, but they're overflowing from the parking lot into there now. And that's always flooded right there also. And there's a little flooding right in front of me, and the sidewalk's been broken since I've been there. No one ever fixed it, even when they fixed hers, but they had a worker sign there. I'm like,
No, they didn't. I
so
still
you have the worker sign, can you go over there and fix it? Anyway, that was about 4 months ago. Anyway, there's a lot of that going on, and I've asked city council many times if we could get arrows painted on the ground, because directional arrows would be really good. I've seen a walk late and even during the day, so many cars going the wrong way, and there needs to be serious alert here before people get into that turn, because when they're going the wrong way, they don't know it. And now they're going into this blind turn and cars are coming around like this. Really nasty. Arrows on the ground pointed like this before people can make it that way, and the same thing on any of these roads. The turn, like let's just take First Avenue South right here. If somebody were sitting here, there should be a straight arrow right here pointed that way, and dual arrows, because this is a two-way street, dual arrows pointed that way, because we're going from one way to two ways without really any notification, other than this little tiny sign that might be up there. And if they are looking at the kids, and they are looking at the other stuff that's down here, a lot of people miss that little sign that says one way. So, and as soon as we get a hurricane, we lose all our signs anyway. But everything painted on the street will still be there. So I would love to see bunches of arrows painted all over the place, because we could use them. Seriously, it's just like we got 3 of them right here at the corner, pointed out so nobody turns in right. Same thing. Big arrows, don't do it, and so they do it. But but the more help, the better as far as painting stuff on the ground. Because again, we're going to lose the signage with the hurricane, and the painting will always be there. Whether or not you want to describe the corners, let's say South C, North C, on the down here at the sidewalk corners, that's cool. What I would love to see, it's not in your plans, but where you got Lake Avenue right here, there's parking all through there. Sidewalk's big and wide. I'd love to see it cut back, the curbing cut back, and add a bike lane through there. Everything shift a couple feet, because there's plenty of sidewalk to shift. But right now, there's no bike lane, there's no safe way to get from the high school through here, or anybody else. Okay, and bike lanes are important. I mean, it's an important safety feature. So, but speed bump aren't
On that same note, on that corner of First Avenue South and D Street,
D.
if you're eastbound, you literally have to get out halfway into the
Yeah.
street to see. When they built that green apartment building right there, it's like the sidewalk and the apartment building. You literally have to get out into the street to see any oncoming traffic.
Yeah, there's 0 setback there.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there, and I don't know the feasibility of this, but I've seen it in other places, is there a way to put like a mirror or something where if I'm facing eastbound, I can look at that mirror and see down the street to see if there's traffic coming? On the opposite corner, is there some way to position something? Because I have to keep creeping out, and I haven't been hit yet so far, but it's come close a few times because you can't see around that apartment building.
Or mark
Sounds like a ball.
the parking better.
Perfect ball.
I was thinking
Yeah.
that there are a couple of the streets have it.
And the other thing is at First Avenue South and East Street, there is no signage. And I've been in that house for 7 years and they've never had a sign there that
First
says
Avenue and where?
First Avenue South and E Street.
No roadway name signs?
No. And the
Over here.
directional sign of which way to go is barely like hanging on. The signage is gone. I don't know if it got stolen or whatever, but it's never been replaced. And I don't know how it keeps getting missed, but it's not on anybody's list apparently.
F. I was just, as long as we're moving a little bit out of the map. F, is it a two-way street?
Yes.
I mean, but is it? Because it's not over here, it's not from
From
F-
6th Avenue South to Lake, it's
6th
a
is
two-way
two-way,
street.
and then Lake to 7th is one-way on F. I'm just saying, it's just, so arrows like that, here it's two-way, okay, now you got one-way.
Well, all of that area, so F and G is all,
F and-
is all in year 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so F to here is actually two-way, but then from here all the way to 7th North is one-way. And so, again, arrows on the ground would be real helpful.
Just on the C Street there, I live in the other side, towards 6th Avenue on C Street.
Okay?
Yeah, about 5th Avenue, down in that area. What she said is correct in that section there. My wife said to avoid that, so I always come around on 4th Avenue. The only thing on our area is they have a pothole when you come around on 4th. Maybe fix the pothole and put a sign up there like speed zone to scare the people. They come through their lot. We have no problem with that on that area because we get some real good drivers speeding through there on the second portion of C Street. Not the first one, from 4th Avenue down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you put a sign like speed zone, they'll say, oh, maybe somebody's watching us, you know. But they're real good drivers. In our area, we have police presence because of medical conditions of people, so police are quite often there, so we're pretty good in that area, except for one pothole on 4th, and maybe some sign that says they come through there. They're real good drivers. They zip through, they put a little sign to
125.
speed zone. Just put some sign to speed zone. They don't know what it is. Maybe I better slow down. So the other sign is real good.
The Greenway project that was supposed to happen at 5th Avenue and start in the spring that has yet to start. Do you know if in that plan, partnering with this one, if they're going to put perhaps a traffic calming device across the street that way?
If I remember correctly, there are going to be crosswalks at each one of those intersections as you're going down 5th, and I'll have to look at those plans. Since it's been a
Do you
while.
know when they're going to start that project? Because it was supposed to start in the spring and nothing's happened yet.
Very soon. It was actually in the last commission meeting. The contracts for both the Rosso, who's doing the actual construction work, as well as Matthews, who's doing the construction engineering inspection, the CEI work. So those both got approved by the commission in the last meeting, and those contracts are being worked out right now. So that'll be
So
starting
when they
very soon.
projected they were going to start it this spring, they didn't have contracts in place and everything lined up to do that.
Well, when we projected, because we knew the plans were getting done at that time, they're still in design work. So we knew when the plans were going to be done, when we were expecting to get the 100% plans done. And then those had to actually go out to bid, so we knew when we wanted to actually bid the project out.
So is this then going to become a winter project, or are we looking next year before you guys start on it?
Which one?
The Greenway on
Greenway.
5th Avenue?
Oh, no, that's going to start soon.
Okay.
So we just now got that approved through the commission, so those contracts are being completed right now.
So we're looking at before the end of the year, they'll start that project?
Yeah, we're going to have our pre-construction meeting and everything with the contractor and the CEI, and we'll, based on their schedule, we'll get a schedule going and everything.
So are we looking at is there a possibility where we could incorporate a traffic calming device there? Or maybe, I know the stop sign is at 3rd Avenue South, but I've seen them roll through that and hit the gas again and go to 6th Avenue. We just really have some issue with them flying through down C Street just because they're avoiding A. But when you come up on C Street and 6th Avenue South, it's still dangerous because you have the road, 6th Avenue is higher. And if those people are parked right in front of their homes, you really can't get in your right lane. Some people end up straggling in the middle because it's a one-way this way or one-way that way. And I've seen some incidents up there because they can't get over because somebody's parked in front of that house right on the corner there. And they can't get in the right turning lane to turn, so they're sitting in the middle. And it's almost a blind spot when they're eastbound on 6th Avenue South to get up there because all those hedges are there. You kind of have to hope it's a higher vehicle, you can see them, because when you come out, if it's a smaller car, they're going to run right into you if you're not slowed down enough to like stop in the wrong direction facing in the turning lane that's going to go north or to go south. That's really a hazard up in there. But I don't know what can be done with it with the
Little
road
accident.
improvement.
That area that she's talking about, no big deal there. The big deal is on 6th Avenue. That's where the accidents happen.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah. I mean, on 6th Avenue, it's not to do with.
No, she's saying
So
turning
when
on.
when you're southbound on C Street,
Yeah.
trying to get up to 6th Avenue,
Yeah.
you know where the hedges are.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
actually turning in front
Right.
of traffic that's eastbound, and you have to kind of guess between the light and the traffic who's coming that you can get out there
But
But
you
safely.
can't
you left C Street. Or you're
Yeah,
on the
once you
6th
leave C
Avenue.
Street and try to get onto
It's not
6th,
safe.
it's really
There's
a
people going
danger.
across,
Yeah.
That's
So
where the accident.
what I'm hearing is that the entire length of C Street here,
it's a
you're
speedway.
having some traffic issues, you're having some
Yeah.
speed issues.
Just the other
So we
Really?
need to see if we can deal with that with
I'm
a
thinking
variety of
traffic,
traffic calming
some
devices.
speed reducers in there,
just
appropriately placed.
in front of your place is a good spot. for-
Right where my
like
little
she
free
said,
library is would
they-
be perfect.
They take up the speed because traffic's pretty heavy here.
Right.
So they pick up the speed to get across, and they passed my house at better than 40 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And I'm only that far away. Okay, but they were actually accelerating from the other side of that stop sign. And they're still accelerating.
yeah, they don't stop.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, he was, but the car, I think, a little blue one, a white guy in it, and I'm just like, really? And he's still accelerating, and he's going past me at 40 with his foot on the gas.
There are a number of speed reducing features that we can see. It's not just a question of, okay, people are speeding, throw a speed hump down.
It helps.
It can help, but there are features that will work well under some conditions, and there are features that will not work so well. So speed humps could work. I mean, we've used chokers, we've used bulb outs.
The
and
choker
intersections.
won't work there. The choker won't work. That's what they used over here.
The
on
choker
Sixth.
is
I'm asking him just a second,
like
please.
similar to what's happened on 6th Avenue South, east of
East of Dixie.
East of Dixie.
And so those chokers, those
Where
3 island chokers.
They butt out the middle of the
The
road
island
kind of a
chokers,
thing,
yeah.
so it
They're not
narrows it down.
intersections, so there's blocks.
Yeah, it's within the blocks.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
But it won't work there because we got parking on both sides of C. So they're literally chokers already, the parking.
Well.
And we have a
that's-
bike lane.
Again, that's a
And a bike
feature,
lane.
that's a feature,
Yeah.
that is a traffic reducing
Yeah.
feature, but maybe that's
Not
not the
there.
appropriate
Yeah.
use for it. Something else, if you have parking lanes,
On both sides,
intersections
and a bike
is,
lane.
is to have bulb outs at the intersections, which actually, they serve to, they're almost like a choker where,
Right.
as you approach that narrowing of the pavement, your natural reaction is to slow down, but they also will protect the parking lanes as well.
And it'll protect the kids better too that are on the
Yes.
sidewalk.
Is that
I
what
like
the,
that.
is
I like
that
that
bulb out?
idea.
Is that what you're referring to?
Similar to this, not exactly like this,
Okay.
but something that at the intersection that comes out.
See, I like that because it gets the kids from that blind spot turning to a little bit more fudge room before the car goes.
Those can be very effective. They can be challenging to design, particularly where we have an area where, the roadway only warrants and is only budgeted, for example, for a mill and overlay,
Right,
because there's nothing wrong with the base. And
right.
but you have drainage at intersections.
Yes.
And you have to be sometimes it's a challenge to design those bulb outs and not screw up the drainage, because you're not digging up the whole road. You can't really.
Yeah,
can't
and
deal
at
with
the
grading.
end of my block, the house next to me, there's a drain on that side and a drain on the other side. Actually, I
All
think it's
four.
on all 4 corners have drainage. So
Because I've
you're
cleaned
right,
those
in that
drains out.
instance, I don't see
It
where.
doesn't mean that,
That's
you
not
can't
gonna
do
have
it, you
its
just
own
have to be, it's a
nightmares.
bit of a challenge to design so you don't block the drainage.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of a speed reducer, but then my backup to that is that I don't want it like a hump where the police can't get down there without damaging a squad car. I like this design where it's a little wider.
Well, the speed
Where it
reducers,
kinda
the
brings
speed
it up
humps that
some
we're
bit.
using are not, they're not the parking lot speed humps.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
It's like,
No, they're designed like 10 to 12 feet wide,
okay,
sloping on either end, and they're not more than 3.5 to 4 inches high. And the idea is not to try and make people stop, because it's not a stop sign.
Yeah.
But the idea is to make it uncomfortable to drive over one of those in excess of 25 miles an hour.
yeah. And I think that probably, I would say a majority of people live in the
A lot of
area,
people
don't
don't like those
speed,
in front of
but
their house because they can be noisy.
I don't mind. It's just down on my house is actually 3 lots.
Mhm.
So if it came down to the southern end of my lot, I have like a little free library there. Right across there, it's an open spot. It's kind of across, south of the driveway of my neighbor across the street. And it's just about where they get their head of steam that would slow them down before they get to that intersection, which is also another like challenge when people, especially around when people are getting home from work. It can be really all of a sudden congested. People don't seem to be able to pull up to the curb even though there's room. They all have to stop in the middle of the street to let the workers off. So that creates a problem, then someone gets mad and they're on the gas, and it's just, you can see these road rage incidents escalating and becoming more common.
I drove over there a couple of times, different times this week, actually in preparation for tonight, to familiarize myself with the area. And I noticed that, particularly, what time is school at, 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of kids.
There's just it's like mass kids moving south and moving east through those roadways.
And that's a concern, because when I see these guys in their trucks running down there or other people rushing, I'm like, and I'm always like, slow down, there's kids. we don't have kids in the area signs. I'm not sure if that's something that the RPNA has to pay or the city puts those out, slow down for kids in the area, but unfortunately, I don't think adults nowadays pay much attention to things. If you can't physically impact their ability to be mobile and move,
Speed reducer.
they're just gonna fly through. It's up to the kids to get out of the way if they don't see their vehicle.
Now, you say that there's a stop sign at Third?
Third Avenue
Third.
South, all the way across from A Street to East Coast.
Yeah.
We have stop signs there. That was our attempt to slow down that speeding
just added.
situation. But I've seen him roll through there, and as he's testified, they pick up the gas again and go to 6th Avenue. So, I mean, you can't